Welcome everyone to the August meeting of WCCA. We really appreciate you getting up early to be with us. We've got an action-packed agenda today. It's on the website. We're going to have to keep to a tight time frame because I know our first presenter needs to go right at 8 due to another commitment. So with that, we're going to start with going through the state and county elected officials. I know we've got at least a couple of Jeffco commissioners here, so maybe if there's someone here from the state, they can speak up first, and if not, we'll turn it over to the county commissioners.
Good morning, Ron. I think Andy's here too, and so let's let Andy go first.
Okay, thanks, Tracy.
Good morning, everyone, and good to see you all. We'll go quick because we know everyone has lots to do. Just want to remind everyone that we're still trying to get folks vaccinated. There's still some folks out there who need to get vaccinated. Our public health folks, it's now completely mobile, and they will come to you. Quite literally, if you call public health and ask them to come to your business, come to your home, they will come to you and give you a vaccine. If you go to their vaccine website, which we'll put in the chat, they're out there, 2 or 3 different mobile units every single day, going around. They'll set up a place. They set up their little tents, and they will vaccinate whoever shows up. We're a little over 75% of Jeffco residents 12 and over, and that will be the key. This Delta variant is really throwing a curveball here in Jeffco and across the country, as you've heard. So that's why kids, you've heard that here in Jeffco, kids are being asked to mask up going back to school. I know I have 2 going back first day today, and sent one to college yesterday. So that's the key is to get everyone vaccinated. So with that, I'll turn it over to Tracy for anything else.
Just real quick, just want to let everyone know we are doing budget this month. So join us as we're starting to hear from the different departments around their budgetary needs. You can find that schedule on jeffco.us. And then save the date. September 9th at 6 o'clock, we'll be having a town meeting, and we'll be talking about mental health with our great Jefferson Center for Mental Health Services. So hope you all join us. Thanks, Ron. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thank you both. Thanks for being here. We'll move to Lakewood City Council, and I see at least one council person. So anything to chime in with?
Well, in fact, I always defer to the mayor when he's on, but today I will not stop him from making any sort of very good announcements about what's happening in the neighborhood. So I'll defer right now.
Excellent, excellent. Any other city elected officials? Okay. Before we get to Mayor Adam, I'd like Lauren Coleman to chime in with something pretty cool that's happening here.
Thanks for giving me a minute on here, guys. If you don't know me, my name's Lauren, and I am buying the White Swan Motel, and it has been a journey to get here, but we are officially closing on Friday. So in 2 days, get the keys, and I'm going to give a more formal update, not long, but longer than a minute next month once I have my bearings a little bit. But we will be painting the exterior. We will be fixing up rooms. There will be patrols on the property increase thanks to Lakewood PD and also to private security. So I think for people in the neighborhood, the biggest win that this can bring in the short term is that someone's going to be managing it with some intention and trying to get the place at least fixed up better than it is today. So I'm really excited, and I just wanted to say thank you to many of you whose faces I see on here who have been a huge part of making this property purchase happen. And big thanks to First Bank as well, who came through to help support the deal. So thank you, and just wanted to give the update.
Thanks, Lauren. And as you mentioned, we're going to have you back in September to, as
Yeah.
part of the program, to give a broader overview of kind of what your plan is. We're excited to see that coming. So, and with that, we'll turn it over to Mayor Adam.
Great. Well, good morning. And Lauren, congrats. You were part of my speech today about what dreams can come true. And you certainly are a visionary in what can be. And I think it's going to continue to be catalytic. And I think this group is very much a family and embodies what the city of Lakewood is all about. And I got to say, I'm so excited to see somebody that just popped on. Mr. Todd Lansing is with us. How wonderful to see you, my friend. I know it's been quite a journey and certainly not over with, but a lot of love, prayers, and support from this group. So thrilled to have you. Yeah, that's really cool. All right. Whew. All right, so I'm going to just blow through this quick report. City Council turned down a blight designation on around 8th and Sheridan. I think there was certainly some concern because these were single family homes. There had been some investments in the past and not any real communication with the neighborhood. So if you watch any of our meetings, you know how painfully challenging that process can be. And it was followed up with another conversation related to the strategic growth initiative, looking at non-substantive changes via just really language, things like that. But stay tuned for a study session coming further down the road to really look at some of the issues that we do face with the SGI related to a whole host of things, from affordable housing to the blight designations. Council meetings, we're still trying to get back to the hybrid model. We have some technology that we've had to order, and that's really what we're waiting on. And of course, you see everything else that's happening. So it'll be kind of touch or go for now. We're getting into the budget in the next 2 weeks. That'll be huge. That'll be really looking at trying to recover dollars lost in utilizing ARPA funds. I will mention a wonderful colleague of ours, Dana Gutwein from Ward 5, resigned effective Monday. And just, you know, this has been a challenging time for lots of folks, and her family is super important, and she's had some tough times during COVID and needed to refocus on her little kids and her family. So we certainly support her in that. We will greatly miss her. She was an incredible advocate, especially for this corridor, even though she didn't represent it. So we wish her the best. There will be 2 open spots in Ward 5, and at this point it'll be similar to like a ranked choice. The top 2 vote getters will be the new representatives. Top getter being the 4-year term, and then the second would get the 2-year. Credible display. I mean, again, blown away. The most folks I've seen out at First Friday, and others might touch on this, but how special to see young families, people from all over coming and enjoying that First Friday. Shout out to Alexis and her team from the city. We did a groundbreaking of some new mural work on 17th and Pierce, and to help celebrate the 10th anniversary. Handsome Little Devil provided a free little library, which is just fantastic. If you haven't seen that contraption over there, go over there and check it out. And it was really a partnership with so many folks, Metro West Housing, CDOT. It brought together folks. You know, a young girl was there who was in high school and helped do the artwork, all the way up to folks in their 70s and 80s. So really embodies what this group is all about. Celebrated with Reuben, their 100th anniversary, Mount Air Christian Church. So shout out there. That's fantastic. What an incredible mission. And at that, we had our community action team, and one of our homeless navigators was there. If you see those guys or gals, try to talk to them. It's incredible what they're doing. At that point, they had housed over 80 people, have found places for over 80 people to live. And as we know, that certainly continues to grow all over the corridor, and we're working diligently on that. We have an election coming, so please tune in, especially important for the corridor. Mentioned that a little bit earlier with Dana, but get to know those candidates. Many of them attend these. There's some folks that are really engaged in trying to make sure that the future of Lakewood continues to move forward. And, you know, I mentioned Lauren, it's so cool to see. And, you know, for so long, folks, you know, these processes can take a long time, and it can get frustrating. And I know certainly our folks on the Western corridor would like to see more activation. And And this just shows how much effort it takes of people coming together, people taking risk, and that encouragement. And ending with that is the announcement of Casa Bonita, right? Something that we've always quietly loved or vocally loved and probably made some jokes about for years. But a really cool opportunity is in the works, and something that's been in the works for some time. Mr. Smith has certainly been engaged, and the City of Lakewood's going to do everything they can to make sure that something really unique can happen, not only there, but again, another catalytic project. And there's a lot of moving parts, so stay tuned, but we're really excited to have that investment from the South Park team and welcome them to our corridor. And a lot of press on that worldwide, in fact, coming back towards West Colfax. So hats off to you all. Happy to take any questions if you have any. If not, have a wonderful day.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. You covered a lot of ground there. Appreciate it. We're going to skip over Lakewood Economic Development because we've got Robert Smith here that's part of our program. And on the West Colfax bid, we've got Kevin Yoshida here. He's going to cover that with Bill on kind of what's going on in that process as part of our program as well. So with that, we're going to move to West Metro Fire. And I think, Cassie, you're here today with us?
I am, but we also have our new West Metro Chief of Staff, Scott Rogers, and he will give an update.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. And Cassie?
Scott, you're on mute. Or we just can't have audio.
Give us just a moment while they try to get connected.
How about that?
There you go, Scott. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you, Scott.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
That's right.
As Cassie mentioned, I'm moving from Deputy Chief of Operations to the Deputy Chief of Staff. With all our transition here at West Metro, we're losing over a couple hundred years of experience, and a lot of that is at our command staff level. So I'll be moving into that position, and the next meeting I'll be introducing Dan Fannenstill, who'll be the Operations Chief, who will be attending your meeting. So having said that, quick update, I always start with my safety message, and the August safety message is back to school safety. So obviously watch out for those kiddos on the streets. Probably be more kiddos on streets with the school bus issue. So keep an eye out for them. And that kind of blends into our pedestrian safety for August as well. And I always mention when I talk about the safety stuff is the cell phones. Please stay off your cell phones while you're driving and do hands free. A few updates for West Metro. We do have 20 firefighters in the academy right now at Hampton and Kipling. Which is these days for everybody. And I know a bunch of you here struggle with the workforce right now. And luckily we were able to get the amount of people that we need. COVID update, we are just over 80% of our employees are vaccinated, which obviously is really good. That most fire departments in the state are struggling to get to 50% vaccinated. So we're fortunate there. And then as most people, we're right in the middle of budget season. So that's it for my quick update. Any questions for me or Cassie, if you want to add to that?
No, I think that covers it. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Have a great meeting.
Thank you. Thank you both for being here and for being part of what you do for West Metro. And with that, I think Commander Perry is here for the Lakewood Police.
Good morning. Just a quick update of what's happening and what has happened recently. We have a facility that has recently opened up. It's a nonprofit facility called Recovery Works, and that's at 7011 West Colfax. This is a facility that will attempt to serve some of the needs of the homeless. It'll provide opportunities for them to shower, for them to have new clothes, to get some food, to do their laundry, and to provide internet access. So that is now up and running. Just to let you know, we did have some pushback on the mask mandates. We had a group of about 400 to 500 people show up 2 weeks ago at Jefferson County Mental Health at 645 Parfait. The protest was peaceful, lasted for about 2 hours, and there was no significant incidents. I talked to Department of Health people yesterday up on Parfait, and they did say that sometimes, for example, yesterday they had a few people try to get in the building and demanded to speak to somebody in charge about the mandates, but nothing that was violent, and everything was relatively peaceful. The department's gearing up for our transition to body cameras. This is an attempt to comply with the new state legislation, and we should have those body cameras operational and up and running in the early spring. And the last thing I have for you is that our department's going to be bringing up the Blue Sky Motel at 6205 West Colfax for numerous public nuisance violations. We're going to bring them before the city hearing officer and ask that disciplinary measures be imposed. We've had numerous incidents of stabbings and shootings, homicides, a bunch of recovered stolen vehicles, and just an all-around public nuisance. So we are going to bring them to the hearing officer sometime in the next month. And that's about it from the police department.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for what you and all of your team do in our community.
Thank you.
And for being with us this morning.
Sure.
We're a bit ahead of schedule. Good to hear. We're going to move into the program, and I'm delighted that we have Haley Johnson here from Benchmark Theater, who's going to give us an update on their I'll call it their relaunch. So Haley, with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, hi, thank you, Ron. Good morning, everybody. As Ron said, I'm Haley Johnson. I'm the executive director of Benchmark Theater, and I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to speak with you all this morning. Benchmark has been a proud member of the 40 West Arts District, and we've been lucky to call Lakewood, and particularly West Colfax, our home since taking over the venue from the Edge Theater back in 2017. You know, as all independent businesses know, as you all know, especially the arts organizations, we had to weather quite a storm in 2020 and beyond. And Benchmark has been dormant since the end of February of 2020. We've had zero programming, zero in-person programming. But we're back, and it's super exciting. We're stronger than we've been in the past. We have a brand new executive team. We have a new mission and new vision. And we're also going to be rolling out new branding, a new logo. So we're just kind of taking a year and a half almost and wiping it clean and trying to relaunch with a new sort of hunger for telling stories to our community. For exciting information for the venue itself, we had a bit of a cleanup of the theater. We brought a huge rollout dumpster out and spent a Saturday just clearing out a lot of old props and furniture, and that was kind of a nice purge. We also tore out all the old green squeaky chairs that I'm sure many of you have sat in and dealt with through past meetings. Those are all gone, and we have replaced them or are in the process of replacing them with brand new chairs donated to us generously by Vintage Theater in Aurora. We also pulled up about 9 years worth of paint from the stage floor. So all the way back to when the Edge moved in 2012. And we're laying out a fresh new coat of paint, and we're hoping we can, you know, stack that up for another 9 years to come. So our first production back, it opens October 8th, and we're really excited about it. It's a world premiere new work devised here locally by Colorado artists, and it's called Elephant. It is in a workshop process right now, and rehearsal will start in a few weeks. basically, this is an adaptation of the classic Elephant Man story that I'm sure everyone has heard of or seen the movie. But this one is going to be shoved through a modern lens, and it's more important, it's more urgent and immediate because it's going to be told through the perspective of a young Black man playing the role of John Merrick. So he will be seen as the other based off the color of his skin, as opposed to the traditional, deformity. But we're excited about it because it's timely, it's immediate, like I said, which is exactly what theater should be and what all arts should be. We should be able to comment on what's happening now or yesterday, as opposed to, 4 or 5 years ago or 20 years ago or 200 years ago, which is fine too. But if the arts and music and, film and things can't talk about what's happening right now in our community and our nation, then, what's the point of creating art? We'll be ending this current year with a regional premiere of Steve Martin's comedy called Meteor Shower. It's about two married couples coming together to watch a meteor shower when things get a little weird, which is what Steve Martin does really well. And yes, that's the Steve Martin, the actor. So, bringing a comedy to the end of the year, I think is going to be important to kind of brush off some of the COVID blues and make everyone feel a little bit better. And then 2022, we have a slate of all world premiere and regional premiere productions written again right here locally by Colorado playwrights. And it's exciting. I mean, supporting local playwrights is the same as supporting local music and local art. It's super important to collaborate with all of our local artists on all levels. So we're really excited to be bringing in, local ideas and supporting them. And then, we usually do about 4 or 5 productions a year historically in the past, but moving forward, this coming year is a monster. We have 7 plays planned, and that's a little scary, but we have great support system. So we're really looking forward to getting back on stage and back behind the bar and back behind the, the desk to welcome our neighbors and our supporters into the theater. And, with that being said, we have absolute full gratitude to the Lakewood West Colfax Business Improvement District and Bill Marino specifically, because Benchmark would not have been able to survive what 2020 did to all arts organizations without their support. So we are very humbled and lucky to, be a part of a community that's so supportive and has been championing us to return. And that includes our partners right there at 40 West with Liz Black and the gallery. So that's really all. I didn't have anything fancy. I didn't have a PowerPoint. I just wanted to talk to everybody and say thank you so much for letting us be a part of the neighborhood. And, we're just excited to move forward and come back with a bit of a hunger. So we hope to see you guys all at the theater.
Thank you so much, Haley. And I think we'll do everything we can at WCCA to support kind of you coming back with your lineup. I'm sure you can find information on our website, and I would really encourage people to get the word out that Benchmark is back. I really look forward to the Steve Martin thing too.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the chat box and people are talking about Steve Martin, the banjo player, versus Steve Martin, the comedian. So it's cool that you've got something he's producing. Thank you so much. With that, we're going to next item on here is a board chair update from WCCA, and I think that's me. I think you're going to call something up here, Katie, in terms of our one kind of, she's Katie Ziegler, who is our all things behind WCCA, has been doing a great job to kind of synthesize the things we're working on into this one slide that allows you to kind of see the things that we're making progress on. We have micro grants. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly, and we've been doling those out. If you have something specifically you'd like to have considered, our board meets every month on the Tuesday before the Wednesday member meeting, and you can see some of the things that we've been doing here to kind of help support some of the things in our community. We have a beautification program, and we're always looking for things that we can do. Kathy and Maddie, very active with WCCA, did some things for Chicago recently. We've done some other things along the corridor, and we're always interested in suggestions. So if you see something that maybe we could get a group of people together, and we've done a couple Saturday mornings. I remember the thing out in front of Rockland Music when we kind of did some beautification there. You're going to hear more going forward in other programs starting next month on the passport program that we thought was very successful for the hospitality segment along the corridor. And we're going to be introducing a passport, I think we're calling it Passport 2.0 for the retail businesses. We've got lots of other things going on here. And I'm going to get back to Liz Black, who's going to give us an update on 40 West when we get into our community updates. And she can maybe talk a little bit about the poet laureate that's part of the 40 West program. And I'm really excited on Save the Date for November 11. We're finally getting back to our West Colfax Lately Luncheon that we typically have done every spring, and we tried to do it last year, and we bumped it to the fall, and then bumped it to the spring of this year, and we've got a date secured, assuming everything stays at least relatively the same as now, on November 11, and we're working on the agenda. It'll be noon at Lakewood Country Club. You can find information on the website, and we're releasing the West Colfax Lately magazine online this month. And then the printed edition will be following, I think, in the following month. So look for that, because it's kind of a great way to kind of see everything that's happening on the West Colfax corridor. So just a quick update of things that we're focused on. Again, I thank you for our board. We've got a very active board. We've added a couple people to it recently, including Lauren and Jenny O'Neill and Todd. Again, great to see you back as well. He's one of our board members, and it's good to see him back in the saddle, at least participating in this. So, and with that, we'll move ahead to the next item on the program, and we've got Bill and Kevin Yoshida, who are going to give us an update on the 2022 overview of the bid process and what they've been working on.
Did we do Liz Black yet?
I'm going to come back to Liz when we start our community updates.
Okay.
So we'll
all right.
come back to Liz.
Okay. I'll share my screen and get things started. Whoops, wrong one. Okay. All right. As usual, we give an update every year to WCCA on the biz plans for the coming year. First, before we begin, I'd like to say thank you to everybody that wrote into the city and to the city council for supporting the LRA funding for our new building. So I think we had more than 50 or 60 people call and write, and it was approved 2 weeks ago, and that money will go a long way to make that building a keystone for our community. So moving on to this program, whenever we talk to the public, we always talk about all three organizations that you see here. We've been working on 2022 for about 2 months now, and Kevin is going to review our focus areas for 2021 and recap and review our progress. And then he's going to go through our plans for focus areas for 2022. So one more word. Everything we're focusing on for 2022 is embedded in our work on the 2040 plan, especially what the work we did together in the last year. We're due to public's updated 2040 vision plan in a month or two and presented to City Council by the end of the year. So everything we talk about in the focus areas is embedded in the 2040 plan. So including the building and including bringing more energy to the west end of the corridor. With that, I'll turn it over to Kevin to talk about the recap.
Bill? Yeah, go ahead and give me the next slide there. Yeah, so this may look familiar. This is our look back, our 2021 focus areas and what we prioritized last year when we reported to you about the same time. So this list looks familiar. As Bill said, the Business Improvement District sits behind as the engine and works closely with this group, WCCA and its board, and 40 West and its boards to connect with the community and provide programming and benefit. Also, in the art line is in that as well. The magazine, Ron gave you an update on. As you know, I talk a lot here, Bill, and I talk a lot about the 2040 plan. That's really the framework for the 360-degree and corridor-wide view. So that's our touchstone and benchmark. Number 6 there, IGA is intergovernmental agreements. So that's the operational relationships we have with the city to provide the infrastructure and the basics behind it all. And of course, you know that the corridor awareness lives and breathes through organizations like this. We're constantly connecting, promoting, and making sure everybody has the right information at the right time. And number 8 is, as you all know, when we celebrated the last couple of meetings, we are working on our forever home. So thanks to Callahan Construction, the building is getting less scary every day and less leaky every day. So the roof is in place and the permits are submitted. So we are pivoting from the stabilization phase to what we call the activation stage, where we're going to be able to all go and partake of some cool things as we move forward here into the next year. Again, you'll see this, and you'll probably see this a couple other times as we present it throughout the rest of the year and into next year, just our own tracking report there. So you'll see most of those are ticking past the 50% into the 3/4 mark because we're entering the 3/4 point of the year. So we did a look back and made sure that we made progress on everything we talked about in the buckets that I just showed you. And you know, again, the drumstick has other chapters, but that section is certainly complete and moving forward into it and rolls over into that building activation component. But we're definitely on track with despite all the interruptions, as Ron mentioned, with adapting to different platforms and reconnecting with where the community was and where we all were in rebooting our businesses and connecting. We've been nimble and stayed the course and are still on track. Give me the next slide there, Bill.
Yep. Okay.
So the 2020 framework, we did a little bit of restructuring here, but as you read those items, they're very much the same. So no major repositioning in our basic mission to serve the corridor, again, from end to end and as in a 360 view. The bold letters off to the side, you'll see were overlays. We bundled them. So when I show you the next slide, that'll make a little more sense. But as you go through those 10 items, again, our focus areas remain the same. We've called out a few specific projects that, again, you've been hearing out regularly in this group, like number 2 there. We know that the dollars involved and the magnitude and importance of the West Colfax Pedestrian Safety Project that we'll hear an update later on. is super important. So we thought that was important to call out. Bill updated you. We're putting the polish on the 2040 plan and its update, and we'll have that out in the community by the end of the year. You heard about some of the West Colfax lately and the business support programs. Of course, we're going to continue that. IGA number 6 there is familiar. Again, I told you about our just ongoing responsibilities to take care of the basics. Placemaking, you see that in so many things. Artline is certainly a project, but there are certainly other mini projects that spin up in that related to the things and the cool art you see in the community. So number 7 there. Operations 8, 9, and 10 there. Again, you can see that's all our infrastructure it takes to support the bid, as well as the other 3 organizations bundled up there. And since the building, just like paying rent, we need to stabilize that and make that a resource. So we decided to roll number 10 up there into the operations category. And you can give me a forward there, Bill. So rather than parse each one of those 10 into a budget snapshot, we rolled them up into those bundles. So you can see how we're all that the dollars that we're responsible for get redeployed into the community, again, through our partners, through things like projects and programming, as well as tangible things like getting that building in place and the percentage that we allocate to all that. Go ahead and give me another slide there, Bill. And I think that's the last one. As you've heard, we're like you, keeping our ears to the ground and championing the revitalization and rebooting that business into contributing to the community, because it is amazing. The lack of activity has certainly been felt, and it'll be a win for everybody to have that space, but every space along the corridor in service to providing services, goods, places to go for people. So stay tuned, and we'll be reporting all the news as it happens.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Kevin. One more word. We're working with the city, and we're working with our partners at the Lamar Station Plaza to make the South Park venture work. We're not at the helm for sure, but we are a supported entity, and we want Casa Menida to thrive along with all of West Colfax. And my final comment today is another thank you to Kevin for being my voice for the past year. I appreciate that more than you know, and I appreciate all of you putting up with me trying to speak. I'm getting better and better every month, so stay tuned. Thank you, Ron.
Yeah, last word here, Bill. You're doing great. All the boards know we're happy to lend our voices, and we're just thrilled that your thinking and your strategy and all your guidance is very much in play behind the scenes. As I segue here to the next one last shout out. Bill mentioned all the letters. Thank you to everybody for sending those in, letters of support, and thanks to Robert Smith and Economic Development for moving that forward and getting us there. So thanks.
Bill, your progress seems to be in parallel with the progress we're making on the corridor. So it's been fun to see you progressing. I also want to just emphasize something that's been mentioned a couple times today, that we're also well focused on the west end of the corridor. That's been mentioned a couple times, and our board's very cognizant. A lot of the discussion today is kind of all around Lamar and Casa Bonita and everything else, but we're very cognizant that our corridor expands from Sheridan all the way out to Denver West, and we're focused on trying to do what we can. And I think even the mayor mentioned to activate some things out west. So we've got that on our radar. So, and I think that's a good segue to go to Robert, who's going to give us a little update on part 3 of how economic development works in our city.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. Real quick, before I get started, I wanted to mention one thing that didn't get mentioned in the update. The LRA, or the Urban Renewal Authority for the city of Lakewood, had a meeting recently, and our board of directors, the board of commissioners, who looks remarkably similar to the city council, but they have a different hat on in this capacity, has, in my opinion, wisely advised the staff to try to work on expanding it under one of the state statutes. And by expanding it, I mean the board itself, so that we can take a look at the at being compliant with all of the things that need to happen over there. So I'm very much looking forward to supporting the 2040 plan and working with the bid and all of those things, and just really keeping in mind that that urban renewal area extends from Sheridan to Sims, but it also extends from Sims to Sheridan. So my hope is that when we get those milestones in the next 8 years or so, that we'll wind up right there with the entire corridor energized through that process. So I'll mention all of that just before I get started on this task. And the task is to complete or keep going on the 4-part development series that our good friend Vanessa Zarate started previously. I'm hopeful that you can see that meeting right there. And let me get it started and we'll just run through it super quick. So the economic development process, we're at part 3. I assume everybody can see this. Yes, thumbs up. Yep, great. We're on part 3 of this particular process. And so wanted to outline exactly what was here and where we've been, what we've gotten done previously. In the 2 previous sessions that we had, we talked about 1, attraction, 2, development process, and you see some of those elements that are on there. We're in process number 3, which is components. So today we're going to just do a real quick spin through infrastructure, utilities, landscaping, funding, and capital stacks. We'll touch on all of those things real quickly. What I did want to do is I wanted to challenge people with a little homework before next month. I'd really like folks to go out and take a look at a commercial development. Just take a few minutes, stand there, take a deep breath, look around, see what you see, notice what you notice, and do so with by leading with curiosity. Why did somebody do that? Generally speaking, we're in our day-to-day and we get a little frustrated with the notion of, oh my gosh, I can't make a left-hand turn here because there's a median or something along those lines. Take a moment to say, wonder why they did that, and then follow that up with empathy in terms of thinking about someone else's point of view on that. So by reducing the left-hand turn, maybe it made the through traffic a little more safe, that sort of a thing. And I hope you do that. I'd really encourage folks to get out of the Colfax corridor and take a look at those commercial developments all around the city. And the reason I do that is that you're able to look at it with a little less emotional intensity. You're able to look at it with a little bit more dispassion to be able to see what's happening there. So let's talk about this corridor right over here. You may not recognize this. This is the corner of Jewel and Wadsworth. It's the northwest corner of that intersection. This is the way it looked a few years ago. A very dilapidated, vacant gas station, abandoned for many, many years. As you can see over on the right-hand side of the picture, the way in which the station slopes off has a very shallow slope over there, and that's going to be important to our conversation in just a minute. If you look at between those 2 dilapidated buildings, you can see an open area where you can see the marquee sign of that shopping center. What would be nice is to be able to put a business into that area over there. So what we're really trying to shoot for is this. This is a Starbucks that got built over there. We're going to talk a little bit about everything that had to happen over there. And now you can see that other business over in the in-between. That's the AutoZone. So going through this entire process, Vanessa talked about last time, there's all kinds of plans that we have to keep in mind. All of these plans are important, and I'm not showing you all of them to say, oh my gosh, it's overwhelming, but it is somewhat overwhelming. So it's great that we have a staff that will work with folks to understand all of the things that need to happen in order to make the development happen. And I don't even have on here the codes, the fire codes, all of the things that were mentioned last time, but I did want to bring you back to that moment to understand that, because we have a tremendous team. We call them the Development Assistance Team, or the DAT for short. And you can see all of those folks, they gather every Thursday morning. They're working on those pre-plans and figuring it out. And if you know some of those folks in the room, you know there's people from planning, there's people from code enforcement, there's people from property management, there's civil engineers in this group, and they work on the plans for all of these developments as they come along. every detail is thought about. So let's take a look at that jewel in Wadsworth one more time here. You see it from straight above over in the lower corner of the development there, right on Wadsworth is running north and south up the middle of the page, jewel running down on the bottom. Start talking about the parceling. This is something that a lot of folks don't recognize, that a lot of the centers, and particularly those on Colfax, have parceled out. So they have different owners in what otherwise you would think is one development. There's all the parcels in this particular development. So if we're working on that corner down below, we've got to make it work in cohesion with all of those other property owners. And because those property owners are separate entities, they all have different points of view, things they want to bring forward. So that's where that empathetic thinking really comes into place here. The orange, the red, the yellow, they have a commonality between their ownership group, but they're not the same group. That white area is where that AutoZone is going to wind up. And then that yellow box down there in the corner, that's where the Starbucks is going to eventually wind up. This is site flow. You can see the transportation going on there. If you can take a look down there, and again, that corner that we're looking at, there is no direct access. They're going to have to access through other people's properties, and that's one of the things that we have to negotiate, is to figure out how to get those access points working. You might notice down there on Jewel, there's a median that crosses over. So if you're on eastbound Jewel, you won't be able to turn directly into that Starbucks. You're going to have to turn in at the light further to the west and be able to go in there. Those are the kinds of details that are worked out here. This one shows you the sheet flow of water. Water always flows downhill. And in this particular case, all the water is flowing into the site that's down on that side. The center was originally designed in the late 60s, and water flow wasn't as big a deal for the development at that point. So that gas station constantly flooded, constantly had water in it. If you've ever been, if you remember that, there was a corner over there that was an ice skating rink all winter long, because the water would pool down there, freeze, and stay frozen all year. So every detail of this has to be worked out in multiple page plans. You can see the plans here. I don't know how our folks in the DAT look at these. They drive me crazy. So I'm going to color that just a little bit so you can kind of see that. That big green blob there in the middle, that massing, that's this new Starbucks. The drive-through is the thing you see over on the other side with those multiple colored cars going through. We designed the drive-through so that, there's 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever is required of the code to make that happen. Here's an elevation from those set of plans too. And every detail worked out. You can see that there are different materials. A lot of times those material boards have to come forward. All of those things have to be planned in order to get the site together. And then this is one that blows a lot of people away. Every plant, every bush, every shrub, every tree, every flower bed of a designed facility is in the plans. All of that's worked out on paper long before it ever reaches the forward moment. So it's great that we've got folks that are working on those details. You see these folks on a Thursday morning, all of them focused on this particular plan that you see in front of you right there. Now I'll leave it right there because I'm run out of time. I've reached my 7 minutes for this. I will see you next month for part 4. But again, I want to emphasize that homework thing. Go take a look at a commercial development somewhere in Lakewood. Look at it, spend some time analyzing it, thinking about it, and then lead with that curiosity. I wonder why they did this. Why would they do that? And follow that up with empathy. Well, wait a second. If I'm thinking of it from some other perspective, some other point of view, does what's happened here really make some sense? So with that, I will close up and stop sharing my screen. And I will turn the floor back over to our illustrious host, continuing this early morning soiree. Thanks.
Thank you, Robert. I also want to recognize Laura Moody, who's here from Lakewood Economic Development as well. So thank you both for being here today. That was very insightful. A project I've been watching is, I'm not sure what it's called, but just south of the light rail on Wadsworth on the west side of the street there. They're just coming out of the ground with that. And it seems like that might be a good one to kind of in the corridor to kind of take a look at and watch it as it kind of develops. There's a lot of, it's cool how you guys make sure that things are done right. That's been in the planning for 2 or 3 years just to get it coming out of the ground like it is. So thank you. And we look forward to part 4. With that, we're going to move on to Roger Wadnell and Ann Kuchenmeister, who are going to give us our update on the West Colfax pedestrian safety project that's underway. So.
Great. Thank you, Ron. I'll be doing the update. Anna's not available at this meeting. Wanted to just give you an update on the Colfax Safety Project. Those that have not been following the project, it's grant funded. It's intended to address pedestrian safety between Wadsworth and Sheridan on Colfax, which is receiving the highest number of really pedestrian injuries and fatalities in Lakewood for quite some time. So that's the focus. And I think maybe a couple things Robert brought up. One is that this project didn't come out of thin air. It came out of a lot of planning work that was done, especially the Colfax plan that was adopted in 2015. And then secondly, it is a $12.5 million project. And as Robert mentioned, there's a lot of planning and a lot of design that needs to go into the project. So it's, I'm showing up at these meetings and, maybe you're thinking, oh, not a lot of progress is happening, but we have some deliberate steps that we really need to make in order to get this project moving and getting it built and designed and that sort of thing. A couple of things I wanted to highlight. We had a presence at the August 6th, 10th anniversary of 40 West. We had a booth, and the idea was to get input on design elements, which we did. We had some pretty good response and participation on that. So that, that was something occurred a couple of weeks ago. And then we are highlighting, thank you. We are highlighting the major step, which is to bring in the consultant that actually will be doing the design work. And we are currently in negotiations with a firm right now. We have not completed negotiations, but it's pretty complex at this point. So hopefully we will have someone under contract by the next meeting, this next meeting next month. So that's where we're at. And the public involvement component is continuing to move forward. So it's kind of an update this time.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for being with us and helping us to see how it's moving along. And with that, we're going to start our community updates, but typically we get an update from 40 West at the beginning of the program, and I'm going to see if Liz can give us an update because she just pulled off an amazing first Friday celebrating the 10th anniversary. So Liz, if you'd like to recap that and tell us what else is happening at 40 West, I'll turn the floor over to you.
Yeah, thanks so much. And really, I can't state this enough. It truly was a community effort to make First Friday happen. Everyone from our many, many volunteers who attended the event to all of our galleries and creative businesses who really rolled out their red carpets and brought so much creativity and art to the table to really make this such an expansive, organic, just kind of community-driven experience. And it really was a wild success. So thank you to everyone who was able to attend. I felt like it was such a bright spot in what's been a really tough year and really showing how committed and dedicated our community is to growing arts and creativity in this corridor and to really supporting all of these local businesses and the movement that is 40 West Art. So thanks again to everyone who participated. And if you couldn't come to the event in August, we definitely have other things on the schedule through the remainder of the year. And I'll just quickly kind of go over some hits. I wanted to just mention the 40 West Art Line. It's always an incredible amenity. And as Mayor Adam Paul mentioned, we have a brand new ground mural and free little library at the intersection of 17th and Pierce. If you haven't seen that yet, it's a real beauty and definitely worth visiting. My daughter wanted to quote unquote ride all the pollinators that are there. So it's a really kid and family friendly experience. So I really encourage you to get out and do that. And then additionally, through the end of August, we have our 40 West Art Line scavenger hunt going on. It's a fun opportunity to walk, bike, scoot the art line, to see some of the art installations. And if you find the 3 specific art installations that are included in the scavenger hunt, you get a little prize package. So I encourage you to do that with or without kiddos. It's fun for all ages. Additionally, we have a community mural project that'll be occurring on Saturday, September 11th. And it's also in conjunction with our 10-year anniversary. Our two artists in residences, Jessica Perry and Blake Ballard, will be hosting both a ground mural installation and a fabric fence art installation at the same time on the same day along a small section of the 40 West Art Line. So if you've ever wanted to learn how to do not one, but two public art projects, this is a really great volunteer opportunity. It'll be outdoors and just a wonderful chance to really see the inner workings of how some of these public art projects are installed. And these two installations are intended to be temporary, so they'll probably be up for between 8 to 12 months. And so you can head to our Facebook page or our website to sign up for that awesome volunteer opportunity that'll be occurring the second weekend in September. We are still holding steady to First Fridays, so definitely put those on your calendar. It's a wonderful opportunity to see all of our creative businesses and galleries in action. For September, we have our member showcase, which will be an incredible exhibit. And then October 1st, for First Friday, we will be hosting the return of the Bad Astronauts. As many of you know, if you've been a part of our Colfax art crawls in the past, they're a real fan favorite. They bring out these incredible LED light up fabric installations, and they'll be moving throughout the district on First Friday in October. If you haven't seen them at all, or for those of us that it's been a couple of years, it'll be a real treat for the community. And then in November, for November 5th, First Friday, we are looking to do another larger event. You'll see more to come on that, just kind of pending the state of the world and other things. But Pirate Contemporary Art, which is Metro Denver's oldest continuously operating art gallery, is planning on hosting their annual Dia de los Muertos exhibition. They've been doing it for, I think, over 20 years. They include a number of local Denver and Lakewood schools in that event. They also hire traditional Aztec dancers to come on site and do some traditional dances. So it should be a really wonderful opportunity to see the district. I also just wanted to share two more quick things with you and then done. One is that we have welcomed ABC Custom Framing to 40 West Gallery. In a nutshell, ABC Custom Framing does exactly what the name says, custom framing. They have opened up a small kiosk station in our gallery, and they share the same hours as 40 West Gallery, so Wednesdays through Saturdays from noon to 4. If you're looking for framing, please come check them out. They're a local business. They really want to get connected and involved with 40 West Arts, and this is a real win for our community. So I highly encourage you to check them out if you need any framing. And then finally, Sprout City Farms does have their community farm stand open to the public. It's on Thursdays from 4 to 6 p.m. starting now through October 28th. And it's a wonderful opportunity to go get fresh local produce from one of our most long-term and trusted partners. We love Sprout City Farm, and we're really excited to support them. So head over to their farm stand Thursday evenings. And that's it for me.
Liz, where's that farm stand located?
Oh, great question. It's at Mount Air Park, which is basically 14th and just a little west of Sheridan. And they're on the upper slope right at 14th. So if you're driving down 14th Avenue, you should be able to see the farm stand, even though the farm itself is kind of tucked down the hillside.
Cool, cool. Lots of things going on every First Friday and beyond. And I'm going to make a plug for, if you can see the pins that we had developed that are available at the gallery. So stop in and see the gallery, see the framing enterprise that's there, as Liz said, and ask for a WCCA 40 West pin. Wear it proudly throughout the district. With that, we'll move to the Action Center. I can see that Amy is with us today.
Thanks, Ron. Good to see you. Good morning, everybody. I only have a couple updates. We just wrapped up our school supplies distribution this last week, and we gave out 4,750 brand new backpacks filled with new school supplies to kids. And it was actually one of the biggest years we've had. We actually ran out of appointment slots So today we are trying to serve, I think it's at least 80 people that have signed up on our wait list to be able to get backpacks. So we're trying to get those out from the Action Center today. So hopefully we can help as many people as possible with this. It's crazy to see how much the need just continues to grow right now. So that was one really exciting thing that we've accomplished over the last week. And then one other thing I want to tell everybody about: next month, September 17th and 18th, put it on your calendar, Beautiful Junk is coming back. So it has been 2 years, which I can't believe, 2 whole years since we've had Beautiful Junk. Our warehouse has been packed for those whole 2 years with stuff, and we are really excited to be able to get rid of everything and put it all out. So it's going to be at the Lakewood United Methodist Church parking lot. We've got these giant tents that we're going to be setting up, and we're hoping that people will feel more safe because it will be outdoors. So that being said as well, on that Saturday, we are doing something completely new. So on the 18th, we are going to have a block party. And this block party is for the Action Center to be able to give back to the community. So this is going to be a free event for everybody. Participants, donors, everybody can kind of co-mingle together and be able to have fun carnival style. So we're going to have carnival games, dunk tanks, bouncy houses, food trucks. We've also got local businesses that are sponsoring booths. So if that's something you'd be interested as well, you can get a hold of me for that. But it's just going to be a way for us to be able to give back to the community and a way for people to have fun. And another thing that I wanted to mention, we are also going to be doing vaccinations there too. So if people in the community have not been vaccinated yet, they're able to do that there. So that's all I've got. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out. And thank you so much. Great to be here.
Thank you, Amy. And I'll say my grandkids took advantage of your backpacks, and they rock. That was really well done. Especially how it's coordinated to kind of the gender and kind of what class they were in. So yeah, they were thrilled. So thank you for that and everything else that you're doing in the community. Next we have Lakewood Arts.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I just want to say thanks to 40 West for all their planning for another fantastic First Friday. At Lakewood Arts, we handed out about 150 red noses. And it was really just kind of a fun event. People walked in, it was a surprise, walked out with their red noses on, and everybody was smiling. And we really appreciate all the hard work that went into putting this together. In our co-op gallery, we have the annual co-op artist show right now until the end of the month. And then our next show coming up is Artist Choice at the Lakewood Cultural Center. A deadline for registering is August 21st. So if you are thinking about registering, come on and get it done. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Okay. Thank you, Leslie. Two Creeks Neighborhood.
I guess I could say we have a meeting coming up. I think it is on Saturday. But our fruit sale is, I can still take orders today or tomorrow, and then I got to get them in. So that is our main fundraiser for the year. So if anybody's interested, let me know, and me or Kathy. I want to say First Friday was excellent. I can't say enough about how good it was. So.
Our main speaker will be on lead pipe replacement by Denver Water, which is an exciting subject, but we'll all be facing, at least the older areas will be facing this. And on a side, like, it's great seeing you, Todd. It's wonderful having you back. Wow.
Wow. Keep up the good work.
Yeah.
Hey, Maddie, when the Colfax cleanup?
Oh, when's the Colfax Marathon?
Well, I have it on my calendar.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The cleanup is October 9th. Saturday, October 9th.
That's the
And-
cleanup or is that the marathon?
The marathon is the following week on the 6th. Well, it'll be, I've got it on the 16th is when we're going to appear. But
Okay,
the 9th will be the cleanup.
If we're gonna do the cleanup, I need to have volunteers, so I'm not
I'm
sure.
in.
I'm not a techie, so I can't do this on the computer or whatever, so I don't know how, I don't know. Who should I talk to about that?
Katie, Katie.
will help.
Okay. So the
Okay.
deal, we clean up Colfax, the weekend, the Saturday before the marathon, so
The 9th.
the 9th, and I would like as many volunteers as possible. I will try to call ICCS, and as my husband used to say, see if the amateur criminals will help us pick up trash, so.
That timing could be perfect too, because I remember a few years ago for the Lakewood Lately Luncheon, I think some of the artists took some of the things that were recovered in the cleanup and turned them into some Colfax art on some of the more unique things that were picked up along the way. So maybe we can have a reprise of that. Maybe not. So, but yeah, if you'd like to volunteer for that cleanup, we can put you in touch with the right people. Thank you. Anyone here from Iber neighborhood?
Yes, we had a successful national night out, and we're just gearing up for our third outreach to the community, and that'll be August 29th at Ritchie Park.
Okay.
And that's about it. The steering committee is still going forward. We'll be meeting tomorrow.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
Morris Park? Applewood Valley?
And I'll just mention, this is Dave Ruckman. Almost 3 weeks ago, we met with Bill and with Mayor Paul. And in a sense, it was to lay out a long-term strategy for working on and revitalizing Westland. It's my understanding that the owner of the biggest piece of Westland, most of the shops and the parking lot, is putting it up for sale. And so we need to rely on Mayor Paul and Robert Smith finding people and steering them toward this property. And ultimately, our goal is finding the right purchaser. And this could be a long-range effort, because if the wrong person purchases it, it's not a step forward necessarily. So we're all in this together. We all have our eyes on the promised land, and it's going to take some time. The end.
Okay. Thank you, Dave. Yeah, I think we've all had our eyes on that part of our corridor for a long time. So, your comment that it's good that we're trying to find the right buyer for it. With that, do we have anyone? Daniels Welchester.
Good morning, this is Diane.
Diane.
We also had a very successful National Night Out, which is our annual picnic. We had well over 200 of our residents show up. And I must say, it's very encouraging to see how our community is evolving. There was a good mix of older residents and young families. It was, gosh, it had such a nice small town feel. And I want to thank Lakewood Police and the Jefferson County Sheriff for coming out. Our residents had really good, meaningful conversation with them. And West Metro Fire, oh my God, they are the hit with all of our kids showing up in the fire truck with the sirens going. It was awesome. And thanks to all the city and county officials that came. And we have two big projects going on, one to the east and one to the west of us. And the developers came. The developers from both of those are so supportive of our neighborhood. They came to talk to our people and answer questions specifically and personally. And we really appreciate that. Now, I do have to agree with Dave. We talk a lot about the art and we talk a lot about the west end of West Colfax, and Westland is a very important part of that. We need to concentrate a little bit on the businesses that the west end of West Colfax needs. So thank you.
Thank you, Diane. It's nice to hear that the developers are kind of engaging with the community in your neighborhood, and I think we're seeing more of that throughout the district. So that's great. Jerry, I think Jerry Hilton is here for Lakewood Elks.
Good morning, everyone. How you doing there? Well, we're open. We've got 4 to 5 days a week that we got activities going on. But the one thing I want to promote today is the city of Lakewood is putting on the West Metro Veterans Fair on the 16th of September, and we're hosting it at the Lakewood Lodge. And we've got 47 nonprofit vendors to help these veterans in whatever their needs are. And if anybody knows of a venue where there's a lot of veterans running through them, get in touch with me so I can put up a poster to help promote that, because it's a vital thing to our community to help these veterans get the resources that they need to go through the struggles they have in their life. Thank you.
Jerry, you can get in touch with Katie and we'll get something up on the West Colfax website as well to point people your way.
Great, thank you.
Thanks for coordinating that. West Metro Chamber.
Hi guys, good morning. This is Madison with the Chamber. Just a few quick announcements as well as celebrations. So we just had our Taste of the West on August 5th. We had a record-breaking year with the most vendors we've ever had, as well as attendees. We were at the Colorado Mills parking deck, so a new location as well. So super excited. Can't wait to do it again next summer. Get more restaurants involved and more distilleries and breweries. Upcoming signature events, we have our golf tournament on September 24th at the Homestead. And actually the early birdie deal ends this weekend. So if you're interested in playing at a discounted rate, make sure you get on our website or email myself and I'll send my info to the chat in case you don't have it. And last but certainly not least, I also want to introduce Erin Atchison, who's our new Director of Member Engagement. She's on this call as well. So the Chamber's super excited to have Erin on our team. We're now a full-time staff of 2. So I'm super excited to have her on board. And I'm sure you can understand my excitement on that as well. So thank you guys. And thanks, Erin, for being a part of the West Metro Chamber.
Thank you, Madison. And thank you, Erin. We have Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design. I'm not sure if we have a rep, but I think we're also planning on getting them on the agenda here soon. So we can look forward to getting a more in-depth overview of what's happening up there as well. West Colfax Kiwanis.
Yes, I'm going to hijack this a little bit. One of our most active members of the West Colfax Kiwanis is Benefits in Action. They're hosting a virtual seminar next week. I'm going to get the information in the chat. It's about vaccine confidence and re-engaging preventive health practices among employees. And so this event is for employers who could register. Again, I'll put the link in the chat. Dr. Savannah Stumpf will be talking about how employers can work with employees to encourage good health practices, including obviously the various COVID recommended practices in that. So I'm going to throw that up there. That's going to be next week, August 24th from 11:30 to 1. I'll put that information in the chat, but we'd love to have a few of you register and join us for that. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Are there any other community associations that are here with us today that I have missed as we've made the rounds? Okay, we have just a few minutes left, and we did this a couple months ago. If there's anyone that's new, that's maybe a first-time visitor to our WCCA member meeting and would like to just take a minute and introduce themselves, we'll spend a couple minutes to see if anybody'd like to chime in and say hello to our community.
Ron, I'll take a second to chime in. I'd like to welcome back Todd. It's great to see him in our midst. Todd, welcome back. Good to see you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So anyone else? We've ended a couple minutes early, so
I can pop in and say hi.
yeah, do so.
I'm just I lived in the neighborhood for a while, but I actually own the distillery in Green Mountain, Balmer Peak Distillery. I'm Austin Adamson. So I just wanted to kind of get more involved with adjacent neighborhoods and see what this community is all about. And we send a lot of customers and friends down to the West Colfax area because there's a lot of cool stuff. So it's kind of cool to be here and try and get more involved and do more collaborations with other community members and business members nearby. So if you like cocktails or spirits, or kind of just need help with something, or have a waste product that could be fermented and made into alcohol, just let me know.
Austin, thank you for being with us. Where's your distillery located?
So we're at kind of near Green Mountain. So we're at Alameda and Xenon, or it's just a little further west on Alameda past Union.
Okay.
Yeah, we're an old Allstate claim center that we built out a tasting room, have our production there, kind of right near that Natural Grocers and Tom's Seafood, if you're familiar with the area.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, we do small events. Like we're doing we've been doing movies in our parking lot over the summer, and next month we're doing Ferris Bueller's Day Off with a Chicago dog themed cocktail and some snacks to accompany that. So yeah, we're trying to be more involved. We had a rough starting year, and we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary this November. So we're pretty optimistic about the future.
Thanks for joining us today. And don't be a stranger. And folks, yeah, I've always been telling people, invite somebody to come to next month's meeting. If you found this a useful use of your time, informative, see if you can get somebody else to come. We're trying to grow our membership. Katie's put some information in the chat, and there's information on our website. It's $35 for an individual membership, and a little bit more if you're a business, but it's pretty darn reasonable, and we really want to grow our membership and broaden our message on everything good that's happening on West Colfax. So is there anything else? Katie, did you have something?
Yeah, so there's a slide on our website. If you go to westcolfax.org/meeting, which is where I send y'all in our newsletter every month, and probably where you find the link to get to this meeting, check out that scrolling image reel. It shows images of all the things that are happening around the district and on West Colfax each month. And if you looked, you'd know that, yes, we've talked about it a little bit. Passport West Colfax 2 is on its way. I'm going to talk to you guys more about it hopefully next month. We have probably the candidate forum next month, so we'll do our best with timing as always. But it's going to be retail focused and run for 2 months. You have 2 months to try and collect all your stickers. So mark it down for October and November, Passport West Colfax retail edition, and that's it.
Yeah, and maybe part of that, Katie, is we're looking to kind of if you can think of a retail business that's kind of broadly defined within the corridor, send those ideas to info@westcolfax.org, and we'll reach out to see if they want to be part of this second edition. So we're actively recruiting people to be part of it. It's a great way to get people out into the community, kind of interacting with our businesses in the community. With that, I will call it a day for our August edition of the West Colfax Community Association members meeting, and appreciate everyone that was here today. Have a great day and enjoy summer while it's slipping away from us. So thank you and have a great day.
Welcome back, Todd.
Yeah.
Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.